Yeah, exactly.
It's a two-story, maybe three-story house there. That's Patton's funeral service or something. And that that's an African American family that's owned that, and that's part of like all the different things that were here. So that's one of the remaining businesses. And then the Greater Bethel AME Church that's there, that was formed right after the Civil War. So it's been here a long time.
Wow.
A long time. And if you look out here, you can see the Gulch. That's our, those are our neighbors over there. And that's we won't walk over there because we're losing light and we've got some ground to cover. But over there's a little pocket park over there called Tony Rose Park, if you've followed in any of the news, you may have even heard my name as part of the advocacy for that. But one of the Music Row developers kind of took over the park and used it as a staging ground for the construction, and we're like, surely that's illegal, right? Oh no, they had an agreement with the city to do it, and when they were done, they were going to give us a volleyball court. I'm like, who wants a volleyball court? Like, were you going to ask the neighbors before you take over a park? And so we have a really supportive council member. And so in terms of wherever you are, wherever you live, get to know your council people. It really matters. And we were able to advocate for them. They were taking up 66% of the park. Now they're taking up 30%. After 1 year, we get the park that we wanted. We had a big community visioning thing. We had them pay for all of those things. And then we went back to the Parks Board and said, you can do this for 1 year if this is what we get. And they all said, okay. And so it was ultimately a win-win, and because it was a very short time thing. Anyway, but advocating for what is right is really important, and Edgehill has a really long history of doing that. I mean, the reason, I pay homage all the time for the people who came before us to keep Phyllis Street residential and not allow that to go to Music Row, because it wouldn't have stopped. Someone had to say there's a line here, and people that moved here before I did said that was the line, and I'm super grateful for that. But all the time we get requests for rezoning for this all the time. We have to be so vigilant to be able to fight for keeping this neighborhood and really honoring the long history and all the people that have come before us. So I feel like I get to stand on some shoulders for that work before. So as we go a little bit closer on the left, you're going to see a lot of really small houses. So when part of that urban renewal, when they were going to make the public housing and when they displaced all of those people, they thought this is really great. You'll have rent will be so cheap, it'll be such a good thing, give up your private homes, your different things, and it's a mess. By any historical reference now, they realize that this was a big mistake. But they were going to not on this side of the street, but on the other side, so on the other side of 12th, the plan was to destroy all those houses there as well and to build more public housing. And Reverend Bill Barnes, and we talk about a giant in this city, he was the Reverend at Edgehill United Methodist Church, which is on Edgehill, and we'll walk past that. He was just this, great human being with a big heart, and he helped the people that lived here advocate for themselves, right to civil rights, and they stood in front of bulldozers. They said, no way, not here. And what they were able to successfully advocate for is something called Turnkey 3 Homes, and it was home ownership for low-income people. And talk about a game changer. They had to buy it, but there was all these, really terms that were good for the home buyers, and now people who got their lots for $8,000 or something like that are now selling their lots for $600,000. It was just like, and now they're building 2 houses on there. But people who, that idea that home ownership is really this key to stability for people, because renters are getting displaced left and right, and no doubt you're renters now, but I know this I won't do an economics talk, but for these people who were able to get into that program, can you imagine had they been in this public housing that turned over, did this, whatever, it would never felt like home. And so again, pros and cons on all of that, but I think the history is kind of interesting.
So the projects on the other side of 12th, a part of what you're talking about?
Yes.
They created those projects
yes.
then? Okay.
Yeah, and all of that's going to change in the next couple of years too as a part of Envision Edgehill, and I'll talk about that as well.